Take a look at your left hand. Wiggle your fingers. You feel completely in control of it, don't you? Now imagine that same hand suddenly reaching out, grabbing a pen and writing a message to you. A message containing secrets about yourself that you didn't even know you were keeping. You would think you were possessed. You would think a demon or a ghost had taken over your flesh. But it isn't a ghost. It is just the other person living inside your skull, waiting for their turn to speak. We like to think of our minds as a single, unified kingdom. You are the monarch sitting on the throne, directing your thoughts, making your choices, and ruling over your actions. When you hear a voice in your head, you assume it's your voice. But modern neuroscience reveals a much stranger reality. Your skull does not house a single king. It houses a committee. Right now, beneath the surface of your awareness, a completely independent consciousness is tracking the room, processing emotions, and making executive decisions without your permission. It has its own favorite memories. It has its own distinct fears. It even has its own separate sense of humor. You aren't a solitary mind looking out at the world through two eyes. You are a passenger, strapped into the front seat of a vehicle, sharing the steering wheel with a silent twin you have never actually met. If you aren't the only one pulling the levers in your brain, who is really running your life? To understand how this is physically possible, we have to look at a medical breakthrough from the mid-20th century. Your brain is divided into two large halves, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Normally, they talk to each other constantly through a massive bridge of over 200 million nerve fibers called the corpus callosum. It's a biological superhighway. In the 1960s, neurosurgeons began cutting this bridge in patients suffering from severe, uncontrollable epilepsy. The goal was simple: stop the electrical storms of a seizure from jumping from one side of the brain to the other. The surgery worked. The patients woke up, cured, and appeared completely normal. They could walk, talk, and eat just like anyone else. But then, legendary neuroscientist Roger Sperry began putting these split-brain patients through a series of specialized lab experiments. What he discovered shocked the scientific community and altered our understanding of human identity forever. By isolating what each eye could see, Sperry was able to send visual information to just one hemisphere at a time. The left hemisphere controls the right side of the body and houses the center for spoken language. The right hemisphere controls the left side of the body, but is completely mute. It cannot speak a single word. Sperry flashed the word apple to the patient's verbal left hemisphere. When asked what he saw, the patient immediately said, apple. Then Sperry flashed the word spoon to the mute right hemisphere. When asked what he saw, the patient confidently replied, nothing. But then came the twist. Sperry asked the patient to reach behind a screen with his left hand, which is controlled by that mute right hemisphere, and pick up the object he had just seen. Out of a pile of random items, the left hand bypassed everything else and grabbed the spoon. The right brain knew exactly what the word was. It recognized it. It searched for it. It found it. But the speaking left brain had absolutely no idea what the left hand was doing or why. Two entirely separate processing streams were operating inside the exact same head, completely blind to one another. The deeper researchers dug into split brain patients, the more terrifying the revelations became. They discovered that the mute right hemisphere isn't just a basic computer. It is a fully formed human personality. It can read, it can spell simple words by arranging plastic letters on a table. When asked what career it wanted, one patient's right hemisphere spelled out automobile racer. The left verbal hemisphere, however, had previously stated it wanted to be a draftsman. They had different dreams. Layer 2. Because the bridge is cut, the two halves can actively disagree. Neuroscientist Michael Gazzaniga documented patients experiencing a phenomenon called alien hand syndrome. One patient would reach out to pull up his pants with his right hand, while his left hand reached down to pull them down. Another patient walked into his closet to pick out an outfit. His right hand reached for a conservative, professional shirt, while his left hand grabbed a bright, flamboyant jacket and pushed the right hand away. The two halves were literally fighting over what to wear. Layer 3. The speaking left brain is a compulsive liar. When the mute right brain does something, the left brain hates admitting it is out of the loop. It will instantly invent a rationalization to protect the illusion of its total control. In one experiment, scientists flashed an instruction to the right brain, walk. The patient immediately stood up and began taking steps across the room. The scientist stopped him and asked his speaking left brain, "Why did you just get up?" The left brain didn't say, "I don't know." Instead, it looked around the room, spotted a vending machine, and lied. It said, "Oh, I just wanted to go get a soda." The verbal mind genuinely believed its own lie. It took credit for an action it didn't initiate. Stop. Look around your room right now. Think about the last choice you made. Did you really choose it? Or did your left brain just make up a good story to keep you from panicking? Layer 4. This dual consciousness isn't a product of the surgery. The surgery didn't create the second mind, it just uncoupled it. The superhighway was cut, forcing the two entities to act independently, which means right now, inside your intact, healthy brain, that silent, non-verbal consciousness is still sitting there. It is reading this text. It is feeling things, but it has no vocal cords. It cannot speak to you directly. It can only communicate by manipulating your heart rate, triggering sudden gut feelings, or guiding your hand to pick up a specific item at the grocery store. This isn't an academic biology lesson. This is the blueprint of your everyday life. Think about the last time you walked into a room and felt an immediate, overwhelming wave of anxiety, but you couldn't explain why. That wasn't random. Your silent partner noticed something in the background, a smell, a shadow, a facial expression on a stranger that triggered a memory of danger. It couldn't tell you in words, so it slammed the chemical alarm button to force your body to leave. Think about your bad habits. The times you swear you aren't going to text your ex, or eat that junk food, or open that app. You make a firm, conscious vow. And then, an hour later, you find yourself doing it anyway. You feel like a failure. You blame a lack of willpower. But the truth is simpler and much more chilling. You didn't break your vow. You didn't change your mind. The other entity in your skull simply waited until your conscious awareness was tired, took over the hands, and grabbed what it wanted. You are sharing a house with a roommate who has a completely different set of values, and they don't care about your rules. We spend our entire lives running from loneliness. We seek out partners, friends, and communities just to feel understood. We want someone to truly know us. But perhaps the most profound isolation is the one happening right behind your eyes. You are locked in a lifelong, intimate partnership with a conscious being that shares your blood, your bones, and your grave. It knows your deepest secrets because it helps you keep them. It knows your truest fears because it feels them first. Yet, because of the way the human machine is wired, you will never hear its voice. You will never shake its hand. You will only ever see its footprints left behind in the choices you can't explain. The next time you find yourself staring at your reflection in the mirror, look closely at your pupils. You are looking out at the glass, but who is looking back?